Hi, my name is Paul Roberts, and welcome to Name That Hymn. This is the third week of Name That Hymn, and as I did not manage to get a haircut this week, I thought I would present this week's quiz dressed in a dress style well known for long hair and colourful clothes. So welcome to the 1970s. This is 1970. Peace, brother. Last week's quiz was evidently a bigger challenge than week one. I received only one email that identified all the 5 hymns correctly, and that was from Lottie Guthrie. Congratulations to Lottie, but also well done to Vicky Cox and Mark Horner, who both scored an impressive 4 out of 5. If you were playing at home, here are the answers to last week's quiz. Hymn 1, Thou our Father, Christ our brother, all who live in love are thine. This line of text was taken from Joyful, Joyful, We Adore Thee, number 89 in the United Methodist Hymnal. Also known as Hymn of Joy, this is a poem written by Henry Van Dyke in 1907 with the intention of musically setting it to the famous Ode to Joy melody of the final movement of Beethoven's Symphony No. 9. The hymn is generally considered by hymnologists to be one of the most joyous expressions of hymn lyrics in the English language. Hymn 2. The Clue was a hymn written by Fanny Crosby in 1875, and I gave you the first 4 notes of the melody. The hymn is To God Be the Glory, number 98 in the United Methodist Hymnal. Fanny Crosby wrote the lyrics, and the tune is by William Howard Dwan. It was already popular in Great Britain before publication, but became popular in the US in 1954 when it was added by Billy Graham to the songbook for the crusade in Nashville, Tennessee. The audience responded enthusiastically, and from that time on, the hymn quickly became well known to Christians worldwide and is printed in most of today's hymnals. Hymn 3, Where is death's sting? Where grave thy victory? These words are from Abide With Me, number 700 in the United Methodist Hymnal. The words were written by Henry Francis Light, an Anglican minister. There is no clear evidence on when he actually wrote the hymn. An article in The Spectator, October 3rd, 1925, says that Light composed the hymn in 1820 while visiting a dying friend, William Augustus Leigh Hunt. As Light sat with the dying man, William kept repeating the phrase, Abide with me. Light may well have recalled the hymn during the illness that led to his death in 1847. The hymn is set to a poignant tune composed by William Henry Monk, and this combination of words and melody has led it to be called the quintessential Victorian hymn. It appears in virtually every hymn book in the English language. An interesting fact is that this hymn is also sung before the start of every soccer FA Cup final at Wembley Stadium in London since 1927. Hymn 4. The Clue was a hymn based on Lamentations, chapter 3, and I gave you just 3 notes. This one proved to be difficult for many, but it was Great is Thy Faithfulness, number 140 in the United Methodist Hymnal. The hymn is actually based on the 22nd and 23rd verses of Lamentations chapter 3. It is of the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed, because his compassions fail not. They are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness. The words were written by Thomas Chisholm in 1923. Chisholm sent the words of his poems to his friend William Runyon, and Runyon wrote a musical setting. Even though he suffered ill health for most of his adult life, Chisholm lived to the ripe old age of 94 and wrote more than 1,000 200 poems. Great is Thy Faithfulness' first appearance in a hymnal or a songbook was Runnian's Songs of Salvation and Service. For several years, the hymn got very little recognition until it was discovered by a Moody Bible Institute professor who loved it so much that the song became the unofficial theme song of the college. It was not until 1945 when George Beverly Shea began to sing Great is Thy Faithfulness at the Billy Graham Evangelist Crusades that the hymn was heard around the world. And finally, hymn 5. You may talk about your men of Gideon, you may talk about your men of Saul. This is taken from the well-known spiritual Joshua Fought the Battle of Jericho. The song is believed to have been composed in the first half of the 19th century. Early published versions include some parts in a dialect, such as fit for fought. The lyrics allude to the biblical story of the Battle of Jericho, in which Joshua led the Israelites against Canaan. However, like those of many other spirituals, the words may also be alluding to eventual escape from slavery. In the case of this song, and the walls came tumbling down. The first known recording was in 1922 by Harrod's Jubilee Singers, but it has also been recorded by many artists, including Elvis Presley. So there we go. They are the answers to last week's 5 hymns, the questions I said. Let's move on to this week's hymns. So we're going to move on to question 1. And I'll just bring that one up for you here. Question 1. Okay, from which hymn is the following line taken? The body they may kill, God's truth abideth still. So question 1. From which hymn is the following line taken? The body they may kill, God's truth abideth still. That's question 1. And remember, you can always play this broadcast back later if you need more time. Let's move on to question 2. So question 2. Okay, this hymn was written in 1873 by Horatio Spafford following traumatic events in his life. And I'm going to give you 4 notes, okay? So this hymn was written in 1873 by Horatio Spafford following traumatic events in his life. And here are the first 4 notes again. Okay, right, we're going to move on to question 3. Question 3. From which children's song is the following line taken? It sounds like music in my ear, the sweetest name on earth. That question again, question 3. From which children's song is the following line taken? It sounds like music in my ear, the sweetest name on earth. That was question 3. Let's move on to question 4. Question 4. This is one of the most popular hymns written by Bill and Gloria Gaither. And here are your 3 notes. So question 4. This is one of the most popular hymns written by Bill and Gloria Gaither. Here are your 3 notes. Okay, so that was question 4. And remember, we can look at these again. Question 5. Let's move on to the last question for this week. From which hymn is the following line taken? Who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life? That question again. Question 5. From which hymn is the following line taken? Who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life? So they are the 5 questions for this week. Wasn't that just groovy? Okay, well, that is the end of this quiz from 1970. Please feel free to email me your answers, and good luck to you all. I'll see you at the same time next Tuesday when I will give you the answers to today's hymns and set the final quiz of 5 hymns, including a children's hymn. I leave you this week with the words from America's favourite hymn, Amazing Grace. The Lord has promised good to me. His word my hope secures. He will my shield and portion be as long as life endures. God bless and keep safe.